This is Chuck Huber, the voice of Android 17. You're listening to Anime Seekers. You better be, or I'm coming for you. Dragon of the Darkness, Flame!
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Hey guys, I'm Hunter Dino. I'm your Pink Dino Fury Power Ranger and your Red Cosmic Fury Power Ranger, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Spoken Silver.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And we're Toku Secrets. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Toku Secrets podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And today we are going to be taking a little bit of a break from our usual series. We're going to be taking a break from Ginga Man and Boom Boomger to instead, Riz and I are going to be doing something a little different. We are going to be taking a look at a little mini series of comics in the Power Rangers universe, the Boom Studios comics. We're going to be taking a look at this little 4-issue series called The Return, which has garnered quite a bit of a attention from fans because one of the people who is responsible for writing this comic is none other than the original Pink Ranger herself, Amy Jo Johnson. And Kimberly, spoiler alert, is going to be playing a major part in this comic series. So, we're going to be taking a look. We're going to be doing short podcasts on issues 1 through 4. So this one is being released on Tuesday, and we're going to be releasing a new podcast each day, just taking a look at all 4 issues, just to do a quick review. And definitely let us know how you feel about us, reviewing this one, because who knows, at some point we might review some other Power Rangers Boom Studios comics. I think we could have a lot of fun doing that.
And just some additional background, this is written by Amy Jo Johnson, and this was announced as something last August, I think, as part of our 30th anniversary for Power Rangers. It came out, obviously a year later, so now we're in year 31 of Power Rangers, but whatever. It's still out there. It's awesome. And honestly, I'm really excited to be able to podcast about this because I have so many thoughts about the entire series now that I've finished issues 1 through 4.
Yeah, well, I've only, as of the recording of this, I've only read issue 1, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the rest holds.
Just avoid social media because there are certain pages out there that are really spoiling every little detail, and I hate them for it because it's not fair to you guys.
Well, good thing I don't have a Twitter.
It's on Instagram as well.
Well, then good thing I'm not following some of those Instagram pages.
It's so ridiculous. Like, the reason I waited a week after the release of issue 4 is to give a little bit of time. And by the time we get to issue 4, it'll have been a full week since it released. So I think that's enough sufficient time for us to talk about it by that point.
Yep.
Because we don't want to try and spoil you guys on day 1 with everything. It's just not a good look.
Yep.
But yeah, so Mighty Morphin to Return. Nate, you want to get into it?
Yep. Let's jump into the plot here. So as it opens, we find out that 22 years ago, which I'm assuming would be 2023. 2023 is the present year of this comic, especially given what we see in a later panel with Tommy. So 22 years ago, the Power Rangers, they defeated Rita and Zedd on the moon. They saved the world one last time, and then they disbanded. And in the present day, we open up, we see the Red Ranger who's, wearing like a cloak, wearing a cloak like a sentry type of warrior. he arrived, he's battling someone in the wreckage of the command center, and that person steals Jason's power coin and declares that he's the future. And then the rest of the story takes place in Angel Grove, where we start off by seeing Billy, who has become who's apparently now the owner of a telecom company. So, which, for the record, just to kind of, just so we can set things straight, is that implying, like, would that take place in the main universe then? Like, would this telecom
No.
company
So this entire comic run for the Return is an alternate universe. So nothing that's happening here is part of the Prime universe where Once and Always and Mighty Morphin and all that stuff happened.
Okay, so then that company wouldn't eventually become Cranston Tech or
No,
Cranston.
it's something different.
Yeah, whatever Billy had in Once and
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, so that's not the same company that was in Once and Always. Something different.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
But they're holding a big memorial for Trini, who has apparently passed away, and I guess now we can assume that she didn't pass away in the same way that she got killed in Once and Always.
No. She
Yeah,
died from something else, I think. I don't know what, but yeah.
Zach is also there, who's apparently become really big on social media. We actually see they don't do anything, but we see panels seeing some other familiar characters. Like we see Ernie in the crowd, which seeing Ernie was pretty cool. Especially since we don't really know what happened to Ernie. And well, okay, they gave an excuse why Ernie left the show, but yeah, it just kind of sucked not seeing him around. And Bulk and Skull are also in the crowd, wearing clothes similar to their season 1 attire, I should add. But they're holding a memorial for Trini, as I believe, a park and youth center is being opened up in her name to honor her, and Zach is there. And among the crowd is Kimberly, who apparently disappeared after the big fight with Rita and Zedd. And we actually learned that Tommy died during that fight. Well, they don't actually say it out loud, but there's a tombstone that says that Tommy lived from 1979 to 2001, which, if this is 2023, 22 years ago, you can do the math. He was killed in the original battle in that last battle with Rita and Zedd. So, most of the story after that is all about Zach and Billy meeting with Kimberly and revealing to her that they're both using their power coins for different reasons. Billy is trying to, use his power coin to create like a teleporter technology, and Zach is apparently using his power coin. So he's actually gone public about his identity as the Black Ranger, with the story being that like he's from Angel Grove and all the other Power Rangers are from different parts of the world. That was kind of like a cover-up story that they gave. And
very reminiscent of Carl Dutton's audio drama, where they were also from different parts of the country.
Yep. And Zach is now using his public identity to like help use his power coin to create clean energy. But we also find out that after the team broke up, Jason became a firefighter, but then there was an arson downtown and a lot of people died, and Jason was completely, became completely distraught from the fact that he couldn't help people there, and he morphed to become, he became the Red Ranger, and he just started like he pretty much went rogue, using his powers to like fight crime and just be a masked superhero. And he tried to convince Zach and Billy to stop using their power coins because he wanted to be the Red Ranger permanently, basically, like stay stuck in his morphed form. And they have no idea where Jason is, and they want to help Jason. And Kimberly is completely traumatized by this, but she refuses to do anything about it, and she pretty much decides to go home. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Kimberly isn't using her real name. She's insisting that her new name is Emma something. I can't remember her last name, but she's insisting to be called Emma. and she leaves. We find out that she's engaged to someone who they don't reveal what his name is, but she's apparently living like somewhere in Canada, and that's literally what the panel says, somewhere in Canada, with this person who's apparently her new fiance. And the comic ends with someone showing up, apparently knowing her real name, Kimberly Hart. Her name is Selena. She is apparently a distant relative of Trini, and she apparently has Trini's old Power Morpher and Power coin, and she wants Kimberly to train her to be the next Power Ranger. Cue the dramatic music, and that's how the issue ends.
Yay! So, I already know how this entire comic series ends, so I'm going to ask you, Nate, as somebody who's only read issue 1, what do you think is coming?
I mean, I legitimately don't know. But that's what really intrigues me, because I honestly can't tell what's coming. I feel like this is all going to be about like Kimberly having to deal with like some trauma because she lost Tommy, and she's wanting to like keep her. She wants to like reject that part of her legacy as a ranger, and it's all about her having to return because I did read like the first panel of issue 1, so I know that like how issue 1 begins. So I'm going to assume that like Rita and Zedd are still going to be around, or there's going to be a new threat, and it's going to be all about Kimberly like overcoming her trauma so that she can save the world again.
Yeah. When I was reading this comic, so a little bit of background. When they announced the return coming out from Boom Studios, they had I don't know if it was a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or something, some kind of crowdsourced funding thing. And one of the perks on it was actually to get a hardbound copy of the comics, all 4 issues in one book, along with digital downloads of it. And so, I've been kind of tracking these comics by email because I get an email copy as a backer of the comic series. So I read 1 and 2 together because I didn't realize that 1 had even come out until I saw 2 had come out. And I was really floored with how mature the writing had become in here. Because obviously Tommy died, Trini died, Kimberly's going through a ton of trauma that, she never had in the main series. And Zach and Billy, for lack of a better word, are breaking some of Zordon's tenets of being a ranger. For example, Zach is breaking the tenet of do not reveal your identity to the public. And then both of them are misusing the Morphin Grid power, which is another thing that Zordon told him, hey, only use your powers when you need to. And I'm sorry, Billy, but I know you want to create like safe teleportation and all this other stuff, but that doesn't give you a valid reason to disobey Zordon's rule. And I thought that was pretty interesting that, that happened. And by the way, one other note, no, actually, I don't think you'll know this yet, so I'm going to hold off on saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, so this entire thing is a lot more mature. It's a lot more technical in like what we're doing. Everyone's dealing with trauma 20 years later. It's really quite fascinating, to be honest with you. Like, just seeing Jason go through that kind of trauma journey to being a full-time Red Ranger. And also, we're kind of seeing a different side of the Morphin Grid here, because even just in this one issue, because they do expand on this concept later on, Nate, but it's interesting that Jason tells them, "Hey, don't draw your powers from the Morphin Grid, because I need to stay more full time." That was never really mentioned in the main universe. Like, hey, that you get more power if no one else is using the coins at the same time as you. So I thought that was a pretty cool mechanism to have.
Yeah, kind of a curious, weird way how the morphing grid was. I mean, the only other time I know that like a ranger being like morphed permanently was Tommy and Dino Thunder, but that wasn't something that Tommy was doing willingly.
Yeah.
It was so, but I do have to wonder like if he needed all that power, like maybe that power was going to help him like live and stay morphed because I mean he's going to have to be able to eat and like
Yeah.
all that. So maybe I don't know. It kind of gets a bit more complicated the more you think about it, but it I mean not a huge deal, but yeah, that definitely stood out to me.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a similar storyline in the season 3 of the audio drama, which I'm not going to get into because I don't think you've listened that far into the audio drama yet.
I don't think I
But
have.
but yeah, they have a similar storyline where somebody's staying morphed more permanently later on. So it's interesting to me that these different well, okay, so this isn't a fan project. This is like an official Hasbro Boom Studio supported thing. The audio drama is just a fan thing, but regardless, it's cool to see other takes on how Power Rangers can be and how similar ideas are coming out from different places at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really cool to see all that, and I honestly think this is pretty cool. I also am really in love with Jason's kind of modified power suit he's wearing with the cape and the little soldier armor piece he has.
Yeah, that was that was completely badass. I like the minute that I saw that, I knew I was going to enjoy this. Kind of looking like some rogue cowboy type of Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he looks really badass in later comics whenever you meet him in the present time. Because I don't think there's any like panel with him. Oh no, there's a couple of panels in the beginning of him
Hmm.
unmorphed, so you can kind of see what he looks like, and it's really badass how he looks.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I'm really excited to talk about this comic series. I really like the animation style. It really dives well. There's some pretty cool detail in the background of the comics. So, for example, I noticed right away that they're doing Trini's memorial at the youth center, and they've added on a memorial park connected to the youth center. And I thought that was a pretty nice little throwback to the older seasons and stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I just liked, I mean, first of all, just seeing these characters back, again, was already pretty fun for me. But like, what I really liked was, I mean, first of all, it was cool them bringing back some, like everybody is going to know who Jason, Trini, Zach, Kimberly, and Billy are. Not as many people are going to remember Ernie. Maybe some people will remember Bulk and Skull, but I'm just glad that they included Ernie of all people in that panel because Ernie was a fun character
Yeah,
all the way up through Zio.
yeah. And I was gotta say, I love the little detail on one of the panels when Zach's talking about his charity event, and you can see the Mastodon Zord in the back of his rave, just kind of chilling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's Zach is full out flaunting his Ranger abilities here.
yeah. The Mastodon Zord being able to do that, I mean, that's
Yeah,
way cooler than what the Mastodon Zord ever did in either Mighty Morphin Season 1 or G Ranger.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, to talk about how I feel about this overall, I mean, I really enjoyed it because I definitely was intrigued a lot by like Kimberly's story because I'm pretty sure I said this, but like Kimberly is, in my opinion, the second best Pink Ranger in the whole franchise. That number one is Jen, duh.
Yeah.
But Kimberly is my number two. Do you think that's fair, Riz?
I mean, I wouldn't argue against it, honestly.
Yeah. And to see that like she lost Tommy and she's trying to like shun her life as a ranger, like it's just cool seeing her, in a more like vulnerable thing and like going through a lot of trauma because even though we saw her like really like develop like unfortunately, unlike some of the other Rangers, where we've kind of got to see some of these other Rangers, like what they went on to do, like as adults, past like the
Mhm.
teenagers with attitude type of thing. We never really got to see like Kimberly like deal with any adult issues because unfortunately she leaves before she can graduate from high school. And the one time that we see her after she leaves the show is just on a Turbo movie, and she doesn't do much in the Turbo movie. So it's cool to finally see her to get some like after high school type of trauma, and that's what definitely intrigues me.
Yeah, definitely. So no, I mean the trauma and the stuff that they've obviously gone through is the biggest appeal of this comic to me. And honestly, a lot of this trauma that we're seeing in this is also present in the mainline Boom Studio Mighty Morphin line. Um, it's a minor spoiler, but I think we've already told you that Tommy is killed pretty early on in that comic line to make Drakon happen. So I
Yeah,
mean, this is another example of them taking really mature takes on what we grew up with.
it definitely makes me want to try and like I did start kind of reading some of the early Mighty Morphin comics before the Shattered Grid stuff. Like it definitely makes me want to try to get back into reading that stuff again.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be taking a look at it, especially given the mainline series is coming to an end, and either we're gonna get like a reboot or something else coming after.
Well, unfortunately, Hasbro doesn't really want to be pretty transparent with us about that.
No, um, but like just the detail in the background of the comics. Like I'm looking through the panels right now, and I just love that when Billy's in the lab working on his teleportation thing, you can see an alpha head on the console that he's
Yeah,
wired into,
yeah, that
and
was
like a
cool.
miniature Triceratops Zord just sitting on the table. Like I like those little details in this comic quite a bit.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
So, but yeah, I don't know too much else to say. I really enjoy this, and I think when we get to later issues, we'll have a lot more to say as the story's going to get a lot more involved going forward. This
Yeah,
is mainly like a setup kind of episode.
yeah, but it was definitely a great setup. I mean, I definitely got intrigued by it a lot.
Yeah. And honestly, I think you're very lucky that you managed to avoid so many different spoilers over the last 4 or 5 months because you're entering this with a fresh perspective that not many people were blessed to have when they came into it, myself included.
Like the only thing I've been kind of spoiled on is that some people posted like this one panel that apparently has some characters that look like the Jew Rangers in it, but that's the
That's
only
a
spoiler that I've
that's
gotten.
a minor cameo in Volume 4. It has no impact on anything. It's just a background character type of deal.
Okay, good. Then
Yeah.
if that's the only spoiler that I got, then I'm gonna probably be it's probably gonna be fine for me then.
Yeah, because literally they're just walking down the hall. They're not even like being talked to. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of there walking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the extent of the Do Ranger reference. But yeah, that's all you got. I'm pretty impressed, honestly. So go ahead and read them before you do get spoiled.
Yeah, I'll definitely get on that pretty soon.
Now, I don't know how you want if you want to do like scoring on this stuff, but I'll leave that up to you on how you want to handle that.
We could probably just score the whole thing at the end.
Okay, yeah, let's do that way.
Okay. Well, but yeah, that kind of just wraps this up. Little mini talk about the setup for the return. We'll be reviewing issue 2 tomorrow, and we hope you guys will join us for that. And we'll be returning to our other podcasts, after this week. But just look forward to
No
this
pun
little,
intended.
yeah. But yeah, just look forward to catching the rest of this little mini review series day by day. We'll catch you guys next time for issue 2. But until then, bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.